Good morning. My name is Jennifer Maguire, and I'm the Acting Director of the Office of Quality Surveillance. And I'm pleased to have the opportunity to provide an update on CDER's Quality Management Maturity Program. My talk today has two objectives. First, since Quality Management Maturity is thought of as a surveillance program, I'd like to provide a bit of context by introducing the role of the Office of Quality Surveillance. Next, I'll move into a status update on CDER's Quality Management Maturity Program and the ongoing pilots. So now a bit more about the Office of Quality Surveillance, or OQS. The Office of Quality Surveillance is one of 9 sub-offices within the Office of Pharmaceutical Quality. The vision of our office is to continuously monitor and provide the state of quality for all regulated sites and products. And our mission is to assure that quality medicines are available through signal detection, data analysis, review of the state of quality, and proactive stakeholder engagement. Now, vision and mission statements always sound great, but my next slide will talk about what this means in practice. The Office of Quality Surveillance monitors quality and manages information about CDER-regulated sites and the products that they manufacture. We use the intelligence that we collect along with analytics to make data-driven decisions that can potentially reduce risk to patients. I have on this slide 4 examples of programs within the office, and I hope that these programs will give you a flavor for the type of work that we do. The first example is the site selection model, which we maintain within the office. We use this model each fiscal year to prioritize sites for routine GMP inspections, which are then executed by the field or ORA. The next example is our human drug surveillance sampling program. In this program, we sample drugs that are manufactured domestically as well as drugs that are imported into the country to ensure that they comply with our safety and quality standards. The third example is our site engagement program. In our site engagement program, companies that manufacture drugs prone to shortage or potential supply disruptions, as well as sites that have not yet achieved sustainable compliance, engage with us voluntarily. The goal is to rectify potential quality issues early to ensure that drugs remain on the market for the patients that need them. And the final example here is the report on the state of pharmaceutical quality. In the very near future, we'll be releasing the report for fiscal year 20. This is the 3rd consecutive year that we've released a report showcasing our surveillance research and quantitating the state of quality for industry. Our efforts are focused on proactively identifying potential quality signals and trends before serious quality problems occur. We're continuously improving our surveillance strategies by applying new techniques and methods. On the previous slide, I mentioned that we use the intelligence that we collect along with analytics to make data-driven decisions. On this slide, I'm giving some examples of the sources of intelligence within CDER that we use for surveillance purposes. So under facility and inspection data, we have access to the industry's self-reported information on registration and listings. We also have an establishment inspection report written by the investigator after every inspection is executed. Along with this, we have any issued 483s and firm responses. And then we also have other data elements like profile class codes, information on imports, business operations occurring at a particular facility, and so on and so forth. We also have access to quality defect reports. So you're aware that the regulations require field alert reports and biological product deviation reports to be submitted to the agency. We also receive a number of MedWatch reports from healthcare practitioners and consumers. On occasion, we receive consumer complaints through an avenue that's different from a FAR, BPDR, or MedWatch. Obviously, we know when products are recalled, and on occasion, we get information from informants. We also have the testing results from the drug quality sampling and testing program that I spoke about on my previous slide. And of course, we have access to all of the application data contained within original applications and supplements, as well as annual reports. In the future, we hope to take information in through our quality metrics program. I'll also, in my subsequent slides, explain the quality management maturity program and how that data will be useful. And then we have access to external data. So this data includes reports from foreign regulatory authorities that we partner with, but it also includes public information. Some of this information we purchase, and some of this information we scrape from social media, consumer reviews, blogs, news outlets, etc. So we're trying to be really comprehensive and creative with the types of data that we use to drive surveillance decisions. I included this slide to show a distinction between surveillance and enforcement. I think a lot of times industry confuses the Office of Quality Surveillance with the Office of Compliance. So the Office of Quality Surveillance actually does not take enforcement action. What we do is we continuously monitor the state of quality and we look for signals. And these signals could be positive or negative. Signals are a function of a lot of things. They can be an output from our model, they can be trending, cluster identification, but based on the severity or public health impact of these signals, a surveillance action may take place. And this surveillance action may be some type of engagement. It could be a for-cause inspection, it could be a sampling assignment, it could be an invitation into the site engagement program. But the goal of our office is to engage early with industry to help keep products on the market. If the situation at your site or company is so egregious that you're operating up here in the red, you're no longer engaging with the Office of Quality Surveillance. At that point, you're then dealing with the Office of Compliance and potential enforcement action. It's now time for our first challenge question. Which of the following statements is not a function of the Office of Quality Surveillance? Please type your answer in the chat box. Is it A, monitor quality and manage information about CDER regulated sites and products? B, use intelligence collected and analytics to make data-driven decisions that reduce risk to patients? C, proactively identify potential quality signals and trends before serious quality problems occur? Or D, develop and implement compliance and enforcement policies and actions to protect patients from products that are produced under conditions that may pose a risk to public health? The correct answer is D. This is actually a function of the Office of Manufacturing Quality within the Office of Compliance. So I'd now like to transition to an update on CDER's Quality Management Maturity Program. I'd like to provide a little bit of context. In October of 2019, the FDA prepared a report for Congress on drug shortages, root causes, and potential solutions. This report examined underlying factors responsible for drug shortage and recommended enduring solutions. So one of the underlying factors that was identified in that report is the fact that the market does not recognize and reward manufacturers for mature quality systems that focus on continuous improvement and early detection of supply chain issues. And the enduring solution that was recommended for this root cause is to develop a rating system to incentivize drug manufacturers to invest in quality management maturity for their facilities. The program is aimed at recognizing and rewarding manufacturers for mature quality systems that achieve sustainable compliance and focus on continuous improvement, business continuity plans, and early detection of supply chain issues. Since CDER introduced its Quality Management Maturity Program, one of the most common questions we get from industry is what is the relationship between quality metrics and quality management maturity? So I hope that this slide will help answer the question. When we began our quality metrics journey, we always said that quality metrics are a key aspect of a mature pharmaceutical quality system and can reduce quality issues and drive continual improvement. but we recognized that metrics was one small piece of a much larger framework. And now we're identifying that framework as quality management maturity. So this slide shows that we consider quality management maturity an umbrella program, and there are many topic areas that fall under quality management maturity. So you can see on this slide, quality metrics is just one of those. We also introduce other topic areas like leadership commitment to quality. So in this topic area, we start to think about management review and management responsibilities, as well as aspects of rewarding staff. You'll also see that business continuity is an important topic area. This area talks about forecasting and ensuring availability and supply chain management. So this slide is illustrative, and the exact naming of these topic areas may change as our program evolves, but I hope it gives you a sense of that quality management maturity is a much larger framework than metrics alone. It's important to recognize that current good manufacturing practice, or CGMP, really establishes a minimum standard for systems that assure proper design, monitoring, and control of manufacturing processes and facilities. ICH Q10 then augments CGMP with the concept of an effective pharmaceutical quality system, or PQS. ICH Q10 covers the entire life cycle of a product and outlines activities that should be conducted to manage and continually improve the PQS. It introduces the PQS elements of process performance and product quality monitoring system, corrective action and preventative action, change management, and management review. ICH Q10 also describes how continual improvement is facilitated by the enablers knowledge management and the use of quality risk management principles. But fully realizing the 21st century pharmaceutical quality vision is going to require a transparent method of evaluating and communicating quality management maturity. The behaviors that we're measuring with quality management maturity we call above the bar behaviors. In some cases, they're behaviors that are even higher than what's detailed in ICH Q10. So quality management maturity then can be thought of as a measure of the consistency, reliability, and robustness of business processes established and maintained to achieve quality policies and objectives, including a focus on continual process and system improvement. When it comes to building a quality management maturity program, we are not starting from scratch. There are lots of ongoing efforts that we can draw from. There's the PDA Quality Culture Initiative, as well as the ISPE Advancing Pharmaceutical Quality Program. We also funded 3 years of research with the University of St. Gallen that showed that quality metric and quality culture programs make good business sense. We can also draw from the learnings of our colleagues in CDRH as they execute the Case for Quality pilot program for devices. And recently, we funded a study with Dun & Bradstreet that benchmarked the quality management practices of companies globally. Additionally, we've been conducting outreach to purchasing organizations, pharmacy chains, and other federal agencies in order to share with them the plans for our program and learn from their insights. In terms of next steps, we plan to execute 2 pilot programs that we announced last fall through the Federal Register notice, using the quality management maturity framework that we're currently developing in coordination with our third-party appraisers. We have the QMM finished dosage form pilot program, which is open to domestic manufacturers of drug products marketed in the U.S. This contract has been awarded to Pacific Force Consulting Group. We also have the QMM Active Pharmaceutical Ingredient Pilot Program, and this is open to foreign manufacturers of API used in drug products marketed in the U.S. And this contract has been awarded to Chavez Solutions. And finally, we intend, after the pilot programs, to share our learnings and seek and incorporate stakeholder input. This slide summarizes the quality management maturity timeline to date. So as I mentioned previously, we started developing our program in October of 2019 when we submitted the drug shortage report to Congress. In the fourth quarter of fiscal year 20, we awarded contracts to the third-party appraisers that we're now using in our pilot. We announced our pilot program in the first quarter of fiscal year 21 and solicited industry volunteers. We have 9 participants in both of our pilot programs. The quality management maturity contracts commenced at the beginning of October in fiscal year 21. We're going to be working over the next month or so to finalize the quality management maturity frameworks with the third-party appraisers so they can then commence appraisals beginning in the third quarter of fiscal year 21. To participate in the quality management maturity pilot programs, sites had to have acceptable compliance history. And by that we mean that they could not have been OAI within the preceding 5 years. So when it comes to measuring and rating quality management maturity, we're talking about above the bar behaviors. So level 1 would be minimally compliant. Therefore, if you're OAI and you're not minimally compliant, you're obviously not displaying above the bar behaviors. When we think about maturity levels 2 and 3, these are sites that are displaying the principles detailed in ICH Q10, and they have an enhanced PQS. On top of that, we have maturity levels 4 and 5, where level 5 would be best in class. We anticipate that very few sites would currently be best in class, but we hope over time to drive more sites from lower levels of maturity to higher levels of maturity. I mentioned earlier that we're currently working with our third-party appraisers to build a quality management maturity framework. And on this slide, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what I mean by that. So this slide is meant to be an illustration of how we're working towards building an objective rubric. So if you think back to my umbrella slide for quality management maturity, I show that there's underlying topic areas. And if you think about it, each one of those topic areas has behaviors that can be observed that would be relevant to that topic area. So during the pandemic, we're not able to visit sites and do an in-person assessment. So what we've done is we've established a framework that allows the sites participating in the pilot to do a self-assessment where we ask a series of questions that probe the behaviors under each of the topic areas. We'll then do a facilitated virtual assessment where the third-party appraisers will engage with the sites and ask follow-up and clarifying questions. The appraisers will also look for example evidence that will substantiate why a site found themselves to be at a particular maturity level. So it's important to recognize that for each topic area, the maturity levels are very well defined. So we've outlined very clearly what defined characteristics or behaviors we think would be observed for a level 1 all the way up to the best-in-class level 5. I'd like to share one additional thought on the relationship between quality management maturity and quality metrics. Quality metrics are a key aspect of a mature PQS, and using data-driven approaches can reduce quality issues and drive continual improvement. But it's important to recognize that any assessment conducted to assess a site's quality management maturity would be an evaluation at a particular point in time, in the same way that when ORA conducts an inspection, they are taking a snapshot of the site's compliance at a particular point in time. Therefore, quality metrics data would be important to provide information about the quality of the site and manufacturing process performance on an ongoing basis and in between on-site assessments. It's now time for our second challenge question. Please type your answer in the chat box. Which major root cause of drug shortages identified in the report to Congress is the impetus for a quality management maturity program? Is it A, lack of incentives to produce less profitable drugs? B, market does not recognize and reward manufacturers for mature quality management systems? Or C, logistical and regulatory challenges make it difficult for the market to recover after a disruption? The correct answer is B. The market does not recognize and reward manufacturers for mature quality management systems. We're very near the end of my talk, and I'd like to summarize what I hope are your key takeaways. Current research indicates that quality metrics and quality culture programs are a good business practice and an important element of modern pharmaceutical manufacturing. Both strong metrics and quality culture programs are part of quality management maturity. The Office of Quality Surveillance continues to engage stakeholders and support related academic research. Our goal is to keep all sites in compliance and all products available for the patient. We monitor the state of quality for sites and products to assure every dose is safe and effective, free of contamination and defects, and patients can be confident in their next dose. I welcome the opportunity to address any of your questions during our upcoming panel discussion. I'd like to leave you with one final thought. No one can do this alone. Let's work together to improve global pharmaceutical quality, to improve the lives of patients. Thank you so much for your attention.